but they're going to be down there. He said, could you let Lazarus dip his finger? And listen, that's prosthetic. That ain't something to just put in the Bible. That was something that he wants you to read. He wants you to pay close attention to that. He wants you to acknowledge what he's saying. He asked him if he could just dip his hand in some water, cool water, that he can put on my. It must have been hot. So see, we need to understand. Don't just read over that. You read that and you stop and you pause. And you understand what he's saying. He said, I'm in a place that is hot. And I cannot get out. And nobody can help me. So would you let Lazarus go back and tell my brothers that they need to go to the right field, that they need to go to the right church, and that they need to hear about that Jesus that you all are talking about? They need to hear about him. Because I don't want them to come to, at least he was considerate. Now some people say, oh, let them all come on down here. At least he loved them enough to be considerate. He loved them enough to say, Father Abraham, don't let Lazarus go tell them that they don't come to where I am. He said, at least he loved his family enough to do that. But then Abraham hit him with something that he didn't want to hear. He said, if they don't hear the prophets, if they don't hear the preachers, if they don't hear the testimonies of the saints, they're not going to believe nobody from the dead. Now, that's powerful. That's powerful. Know what that is saying? That is saying that you can know someone that died and they can walk back to your house and knock on your door and tell you, Brother Brown, you need to get right in church. You do not need to be living like I was living and acting like me, because you do not want to go where I'm going back to. And you'll look at him and say, man, get out of here. You're alive. Man, just get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow over at the bar somewhere. Why? Because you forget that he was dead. So basically what Abraham was telling him, he would not believe Lazarus. He better first believe the prophets. He says next. He said, my Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. And he ties it all together. then he ties it all together. He said, I and my Father. So see, in other words, he laid it out, and now he's tying it all together by telling you, I and my Father are one. So in other words, you're not going to separate me and my Father. You're not going to separate us. Isn't it amazing how God put this thing together? But how is it that people can't see it? Because they're praising in the wrong pastor. He just tied it all together. He said, my Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. Remember the verse before? He said, no man is able to pluck them out of my hand. And then he come right back and said, well, listen, my Father gave you all to me, and I want you to know something. Since he gave you all to me, he said, they can't even pluck them out of my Father's hand. And then he said, I'm not going to put the bow. I and my Father are one. So if they can't take you out of his hands, they definitely cannot take you out of my hand. And on down in Matthew, he said this. He said, and all power in heaven and in earth, Jesus talking, is given unto me. Not some power. He said, all power is given unto me. Deuteronomy. Ye shall observe. Now, I love the book of Deuteronomy for some reason. I love it. You know why I love it? Because Moses is giving his final audition to the children of Israel. And he's trying to get them to eat in the right pasture. He said, ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your God has commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right or to the left. So that means that you got to walk this path. You got to walk directly in the center of the Bible. You cannot try to cut corners. You have to walk right down dead center of the Bible. You have to walk. Because if you go too far to the left, you might fall off. If you go too far to the right, you might fall off. You know, remember when the officer pull you over and tell you you had a few sniffs? And the officer pull you over and say, walk the line. I need you to walk that line for me. And notice, you don't walk the line any kind of way. You don't walk the line like this. No. You walk the line like this and balance. That's how you walk the line. Too many people is walking for God like this when you should be walking for God like this, very carefully. We have just got relaxed and walking for God. We have gotten relaxed and living for God. We have gotten relaxed in the way we praise and worship God. We have gotten so relaxed until sometimes we don't even move. See, we have gotten, he said, Zion, where are you? Is there any noise in Zion? Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God have commanded you. See, this is the part that bothers me. When you stand and you read off of him what the book says, then people, well, I don't see why I have to do all that. He just told you why. He said, ye shall walk. Up there he said, ye shall observe. Notice that? And in verse 20 and 32, he said, observe. And then in verse 33, he said, now walk. And all the ways which the Lord your God have commanded you. Now notice what he said, the next 4 words. That ye may live. So in other words, if you don't observe to do all of it, you will die. Then he said, and that it might be well with who? With you. Not with him. But that it might be well with you. That both sheep should have listened to that. Somehow, when his owner said, woo, he didn't hear him because he was too busy praising in somebody else's field. Do you know a sheep will not mess with any other sheep that they don't know? So you can call my sheep all you want, and they ain't going to move. And I like this part, that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. Now, see, we look at Israel, we say, well, they were going to the promised land. Well, let me enlighten you something. That ye might possess the land which he have given you. Every day you get up, you are possessing different land. If you choose to walk in the same land, you're not getting nothing new. It's only new if you get up and walk a different way than you walked yesterday. Wow. Okay. Joshua 1:7. God saying, see, you know what I like about God? God encouraged us. Y'all do that? God encouraged us. He said, only be thou strong and very courage. Listen, stop saying that you're weak. Stop saying that you can't do it. He said, stop saying that you can't do it. He said, be strong and be very courage, that thou may observe to do according to all the law. So, in other words, if you're discouraged, you're not going to do what the Bible said to do. Boy, maybe that's why the elder couldn't make it tonight. So notice. So in other words, he said, observe. He said, which Moses my servant commanded thee. He said, turn not from it to the right hand or to the. No, you know how many times you have said that in the Bible? He constantly telling us, don't turn to the right or don't turn to the left. Walk right down the middle of the Bible. That's what he's telling us. Walk down the right path. Again, that thou may prosper, whither go ever thou goeth, you're going to prosper in God. Now, see, people want to hear the last part. Oh, I want to prosper, but you don't want to do the first part. It's amazing how people can wrote those scriptures. Well, he said he will keep me in all, but you didn't go back and read what he said up above that. He said, live right. He said, I will withhold no good thing. Now, we love Ronette, but let's read the rest of it. I withhold no good thing to those who walk uprightly. Well, before him. See, we don't want to hear that part. We just like the other part. He said, he'll provide my every need. Yes, he did, but go back and read what he said before that. See, we don't want to hear that part. He said, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein when day and night. Is it any other time besides day and night? Is it any other time besides day and night? I don't think it is. So if there's no other time, then you should be meditating on the word of God all day and all night. Meditating on the good things of God. God, you brought me here. Thank you. You kept me. Thank you. You know, God, I might not be well as I should be, but I'm well as you want me to be. You know, God, I don't have everything in the world, but you have given me what you want me to have. You know, it ain't about what I want. It's about what he know I need. What I want was if I played it, I would love to have that 2 billion. But you see, he know I didn't need that. So that's why I don't play that. So I said, God, hey, whoever did it, put Calvary on their mind. Let them wake up one morning and say, I heard about this place called Calvary, and I don't know nothing about it. But yeah, hey, God can talk to Abimelech and tell him not to put his hand on Rebecca and Sarah. Surely he can talk to somebody else over there. Surely he can talk to somebody else. Y'all don't know who God is. Listen, do you realize that God can talk to the water and the water have to move? He can talk to the wind. Jesus walked out on the hem of the boat and said, peace, be still. It said the water ceased, the wind ceased, and everything in heaven ceased. And it said the apostles was amazed at what they seen. So I wouldn't be amazed if somebody was to come over and drop something in that little box. I wouldn't be amazed. I'd just say, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, that's right. But then he says, that thou may observe to do according to all that is written therein. You notice how many times he's telling the sheep to read his book, to meditate in his book, to observe, to walk in it. He's telling them. You know why he's telling that? Because he realized in the last days, if you're not reading the book and meditating the book, then you're reading too much junk from out there. And what you read out there will cause you to be lost in here. Because what you read out there is going to cause you to go to the right or to the left. And he's saying, leave it alone. Read, meditate in my book on my word and walk right down the path. Again, he says it again. For then thou shalt make thy way. How? You notice every time he tells us to do something, it always ends with a positive thing. In other words, you're going to be blessed. You're going to be blessed. And then thou shalt have good success. See, God is a positive God. He's positive, and he loves his people. But the problem is, does his people love him? See, that's the issue. The issue is not all this stuff that you got. The issue is, do you really love him? That's what we discussed. That's what we're talking about tonight. Again, have not I commanded thee? What? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee. Again, whithersoever thou goest. He's trying to encourage you. Then he says, Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Chediah, and the daughter of Hadai of Boshka. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. 8 years old. For 31 years, he walked before God right. 8 years old. And walked in all the way of David his father, and turned not aside. How? To the right or to the left. It's very important, brothers and sisters, that you understand. Leave your left and your right alone. Because it's going to get messy on both sides. Walk down the middle of the Word of God and do not get messy on the right or the left. Because it will pull you away from the center. I just thought I'd say that. Psalms 32 and 8. Know what he said? He said, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. He said, he'll teach you. He'll direct you in the way that you should go. And then now notice the end what he said. He said, I will guide thee with his eyes. See, he said, I will guide you with my eyes, not yours. He said, we don't walk by our eyes. We walk by faith. And when you walk by faith, you're walking by his eyes. Then he says, be ye, I really hesitated to put that in there, but I had to put that in there. I had to put it in there. I didn't want to, but I had to. He said, be ye not as the horse, or as the mule, which has no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bits and bridles, lest they come near unto thee. Did you get the picture? Do not be like an unintelligent horse or mule, which will not obey you unless they are controlled by a bridle and a bit. Be wise. Be wise. Don't let the word go on your back and guide you. Let God lead you and guide you with his eyes. You know, a horse, you can ride a horse by the mane, and that horse just goes anywhere you want to go. But once you put that bit in his mouth, hey, it's just like you make it so. You make his mouth so, and then but you make him follow you. Because his mouth is so, he won't go because of the pain. Get the bit and the bridle of the world out of your mouth. That it got you so that you can't come back to the house of God. We are listening. We are disobedient to what he tells us. And we are duped into believing that we don't hear God's voice. Don't be like the sheep. Can we stand? And I really want you to stand. I want you to come up in. I want you to really look at this sheep. Let's all down. I want you to really look at this sheep. Look at the sheep's eyes. See, you sitting back there, so you can't really see it. But I want you to come close and look at that sheep's eyes. It looked like it got the weight of the world on it. Look at his eyes. It's look like you got the whole weight. It's like it's saying, why is everybody else at? I mean, really, look at it. Look at it. I want you to look at it. Stress and pain, Sister Deeks. Look like it's been in the world for a while, been abused, huh? Look like the world have abused it and everything. But see, this is what happened to God's people when they leave God's presence. This is what happens to them. You leave his presence and you're now have become a victim to the world.
That's true.
You become a victim to everything that the world has got out there. You become a victim to it. And he's simply saying, if you're my sheep, hear my voice. In other words, stop playing and come on and start praying. Amen.